Welcome to the revolution.
By the way, we haven't escaped the Holocaust. We still in it. Plan B, Planned Parenthood. We are still in the Holocaust. Even the information put in our music, the toxicity put in our music, is nothing promoting the idea of a king taking care of a queen and then taking care of the future kings and the future queens. It's just us talking about killing each other and Jewish people getting paid off of it.
Okay, so there's a couple points there that I want to talk about. The first one being he says that we're not out of the Holocaust. Now, the Holocaust is a term that's specifically used for this time frame where Jewish people were unbelievably eradicated at very high rates over sentiments that their culture was, as a whole, was to be eradicated based off of their belief systems, not based off of the way that they developed and used contracts. So a little bit different in the sentiment. And that's what I think you have to differentiate here is this anti-Semitic in the way that he's approaching their religion? And no, he's talking about the way that the community, the highest up of the community interact at large in these contract negotiations. So let's make that differentiation. Now, when he uses the word Holocaust and relates it to Plan B and relates it to Planned Parenthood, he has a very, very good point. Okay, when Kanye West calls out Plan B and Planned Parenthood, he makes a very good point. Now, using the word Holocaust for that is again, maybe a little untactful, but the point remains the same. And I don't know, let me look that up. Let's see the definition of that, because I wonder if it's, let's see. I don't know specifically if that's used to describe the event in general. Yeah, it's used to describe the event in general. So maybe don't do that. And don't compare it to that, because they're two horrific things. Oh, wait, no, it's not. No, it's not. The very first definition of Holocaust is great destruction resulting in the extensive loss of life, especially by fire, which, that's horrible. So that's the definition, the very first definition. The secondary definition is the genocide of European Jews. The third definition is a massive slaughter. So used correctly, used Holocaust correctly in describing Plan B and describing Planned Parenthood. We have talked about this before. You go back to where Planned Parenthood comes from, was Margaret Sanger. She was the predominant force in pushing it across the country. And she was a Nazi-loving or KKK-loving racist. Okay, she was for the eradication of the very weeds of our community. If you can go listen to the quotes of what she said about it, it was a racist move that she was trying to eradicate specific races in lower income communities. And Black people are predominantly at much higher rates affected by Planned Parenthood, affected by abortion, affected by Plan B, unfortunately. And so what his point is there, a massive slaughter, as the definition of Holocaust is correct there. There is a massive slaughter of Black children potentially being eradicated as a result of, not potentially, is absolutely not being brought to this earth as a result of Planned Parenthood. Abortion is absolutely a massive slaughter on the Black community, and it is predominantly affecting minority communities, and that's what he's speaking to. Again, this is what I'm talking about, the trickles of truth through the ways that he's saying these things in these explosive manners. There's merit to a lot of it. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And this is one of those things. He calls it the Holocaust, right? A Holocaust, not the Holocaust. The Holocaust is how it's used when you're talking about the Nazis during World War II. But he makes a great point here. And this is something that should be talked about in the Black community, that they shouldn't be the highest rates of abortion, shouldn't be minority communities. Because what is that doing? That's furthering you being the literal word minority. Who knows? If you go back and look at the statistics, they may not be considered a statistical minority if abortion wasn't a thing. And that keeps the white communities, that keeps all of these, whatever you want to call it, against on the opposite side of that are the lower affected communities, including white communities that are not as affected at higher rates as the majority community that's out there. And there are people in power who potentially, and what we've seen here, do not want that to be. And so he makes a great point here. Now, another great point that he makes is when we go on to talk about the Black vote, talking about Candace Owens, talking about some of these other things here.